This video is to show the assembly of the upper half of the F431 Stoeting machine. What you see here is the auger assembly or the beater assembly, and this is actually the order of how it goes on. So we're gonna get this started, all right? Here's your rear seal. Here is your rear seal O-ring, right here. Here are your blades. Here, every blade has a blade spring, so make sure you don't lose those because they're very small and easy to come out. Here's your front guide steel, the triangle guide assembly, and you also have a plastic guide that keeps it straight while it's operating. So make sure you are aware of the wear on this item every time you clean. So to put this all together, what you do first is this. Make sure O-ring isn't cracked, and do an inspection, make sure it's lubed and make sure that it's not too hard or brittle. If it snaps or has little cracks in there, go ahead and replace the part before you put it in. This goes on the actual auger, like this. Afterwards, you take the rear seal, and if you look closely, you will actually see instructions right here where it tells you, what direction it's supposed to point and actually how it's supposed to fit on. And also this faces the rear, so this actually goes in the back like that. So you would put this on with the steel ring inside towards the front into the O-ring. Next, you take your blades and you make sure that all the springs, these springs are all fitted in here, and you make sure you turn to catch so that way it won't fall, okay? And there's a big hole and a small hole, so you go ahead and put that. You line it with the big hole and the small hole. You have two blades in the rear, and you put them together like this. And then you put the rest of the blades on. Oh, the spring fell out. Make sure it's in there. Alrighty. So I recommend this. You can either assemble everything and just slide it in, or you can do it part by part. I find it easier sometimes to do it part by part. So what I do is I do the rear two blades first and hold them like that. And I have this all ready back here. And what I do, I stick that in and I fit the two blades like that. And I turn it up. Hold up. All right, here we go. So what I do is I take the whole auger with the two blades, and I stick this in first and let the blades catch on the barrel like that. Then I turn it up to get the next blade up on here. Then I push that in, and I turn this again. That way your blades won't fall out, it won't be juggling around. Take the last blade, put it on top. And what you do after this is you push it in, and you turn until you lock in place like that. Okay, you're gonna notice that this is a little off right here, which is why you have these parts to make sure it's aligned. So the white part goes in first, and then your guide triangle goes in next, and that is how you put in your auger and your blades and the seals. Next, you have your door, okay? These are your bleeder valves right here to make sure that you can fill to a certain level before you run the machine, so it's safe to run it. You don't want to run it dry or with too little mix. And here are your plungers. When you do a clean, you take off all your star bits and you actually push your plungers out, okay? When you're doing a cleaning, you make sure that you check all your O-rings to make sure they're not cracked. If you have any leakage during operation or your next cleaning, just make sure to replace them. And they go in one way. The left and the right are the same with two O-rings each. And the center one is unique because it has actually a third O-ring like this to keep the flavor separated, right? See it, 360 view? Just make sure everything's lubed liberally and make sure that, there's no cracks to prevent leaks. On this one, there's actually a little notch right here, and it only goes in one way. So you actually line that up notch with here, like that, because it's gonna catch and straighten it out, and it's gonna only fit one way like that. And then finally, there are these rings, the big orange rings right here, to prevent mix from coming out the front of the machine, okay? This mates to the front of the barrels. Now, with the bleeder valves, if you have any leakage coming through here, you want to make sure that, to disassemble it, you go like this, you screw this off, a spring comes off, like that. You actually push through and pull it out the back, like that. And here's the O-ring that keeps stuff from leaking out. So if you're getting leakage out there when it's under pressure, go ahead and replace this O-ring and lube it up and make sure, you know, that it's fresh so it won't leak anymore. To reinstall, put it back in, push and lock, right? It's gonna be sticking out like this in the front. From here, you go ahead and put the spring on over, and then you put this back on and you screw it on, and that should be that. And it just goes in and out like that to lock it. And when you're done, you go ahead and put the door on. Make sure the top nails line up here, otherwise you might have some resistance going in. Don't try to force it in if it is, you know, it's not going in. Just make sure you have everything lined up because you could break something. Next, you take your head bolts, and you screw them on, tighten them up so they won't leak. You just need them hand tight and let the gaskets and the lubricant do their job to hold the pressure in. Once it's nice and pressed up against the door seals, make sure that you can freely get the plungers up and down and function. And that's how you get your top part all put together on the Stoeting F431. Check out our other videos at slicesandconcessions.com, and we'll hope to see you soon.